I'm going to make the case that Hedera could reach $2.80. This is crypto for the rest of us. I do this 6 days a week, tip tool coin analysis, sometimes more. Got a school community down below with all kinds of classes on how to do various things, tutorials, you name it, Twitter account I'll show you. But let's talk about Hedera. I've been investing since, well, many years, but recently, 2023, in anticipation of this bull run. Hedera has popped up, as you can see here, from just 4 cents at the beginning of November to 28 cents. When things skyrocket like that, whether it be to the upside or the downside, I always want to dig in and say, well, does that make sense? And I need to disclaim, I'm a big dumb animal, don't do what I do, informational purposes only. It is December 2nd. All right, so Hedera popped up. Well, what are other things doing? Well, there's a lot of movement in the market, and this is really fast, and people say, well, is that warranted? And they get a little scared, and they think maybe they should sell. Well, what's the long game? Right now, we're looking at the trees. Let's take a step back, and let's look at the forest and see what we think is going to happen. It's only December. This might be a fast bull run. It might be a long one. Who knows? But I think it has a long way to go. When I first invested, I had 60 cents in my mind. This is over a year ago. Then as time goes on, my expectations changed as I learned more about the project and I saw more of what they're doing. I thought, well, $1 wouldn't be out of the question. Now, let's talk about it hitting $2.80 and let's just do a comparison of other crypto at this time. So we're going to start here and pick out a couple to compare to. We're going to scroll down. As I mentioned, it's December 2nd and Hedera just hit number 20 in terms of total market cap, not fully diluted market cap. What is that? It's the number of circulating coins at this point in time times the current price. Some of these have just 10% of their coins circulating. Some have 20, 50, 80, some 100%. So that's fully diluted. But here it's circulating. So apples to apples, Hedera is number 20. Who are we going to compare it to? Wrapped Bitcoin? No. Chainlink and Polkadot? Not really that relevant at the moment. They've been around for a while. Wrapped Ethereum doesn't make sense. Toncoin? No. SHIB is a meme. Stellar, well, it's cross-border payments, but small ones for the masses, as opposed to XRP for big banks and institutions. Tron, not the biggest fan of Tron for various reasons. Going to keep that out. Avalanche. Okay, let's do that. Staked Ether, no. USDC stablecoin, no. Cardano, sure. Let's look at Cardano. Dogecoin, meme. BNB, no. Solana, it's been around so long. Tether. XRP, Ethereum. Okay, XRP, let's look at that because it has rocketed up recently. So if it's rocketed up and the one we're looking at, Hedera, is rocketed up, let's compare those. Ethereum and Bitcoin, no. Never compare to those two. First and second, first mover advantages, not going to happen. Okay, so let's look at Cardano, ADA. Let's look at their chart. Recently rocketed up from the beginning of November. 30 cents to $1.20. What's that, like a 4X? AVAX. Here went around 23 to 4, about a 2x. XRP through the roof, 50 cents to 250, a 5x. HBAR was around 4 cents. It shot up to 27. 7? A 7x? Wow, okay. All right. So they're all moving, those four. Okay, so first we're going to go to DeFi Llama. It's really just going to talk about, it's got various things on here, but we'll look at total value locked and we'll look at the number of people building on it. So AVAX has 1.5 billion. Its market cap was 20 billion. 1.5 billion locked here. And we'll see that back in 21-22, it had the most, around 10 billion. It was 10 times what it has today. Okay, and then let's look at core developers. Core developers, it's around 50. It had been up around 70. It looks like, I don't know, let's just say it's an average around 50 developers at a 20 billion market cap. All right. Now, what I did ahead of time, I'm not going to go through it, but I said to ChatGPT, hey, what are the top 5 projects on these various chains? And all of them were DeFi projects for Avalanche. Okay. Kind of pigeonholed there. The top ones are all DeFi. Now let's look at the second one we said we would look at was Cardano. Cardano has a 43 billion market cap. Higher market cap, not as much locked. And if we look at their core devs, it'll come up here in a second. There we go. It's also 15, recently around 70. Okay, so it looks like maybe they're averaging around 50 or so core devs. And I asked, again, ChatGPT, top 5 projects, mainly DeFi, some real world assets, which I call DeFi. They had this World Mobile, which was an interesting project. Okay, and now it's gone up significantly because it's represented by the blue line here, total value locked. But a lot of them have gone up recently. You'll see most all of them have sort of shot up. Avalanche not as much, but Cardano was down here around 180 and now it's 700, significant recently. Okay, next up, let's look at, well, XRP pretty much doesn't have anything locked, but let's look at Hedera. You either have to use the drop down or do the search. And let's also look at the core developers. Now, Hedera's at a 10 billion market cap. It has 170 million locked. Not a lot, but it's just been launching. For example, I do a lot of talk about Bonzo Finance, only launched a month ago. Saucer Swap has been rocketing up recently. You can see this blue line has really taken off in terms of total value locked. Core devs, this is a big difference. We're at over 100 to 120. Twice the number of developers it's showing, core devs, through DeFi Llama. There's various sources you can look at as those other two projects. AVAX has a 20 billion market cap, twice as much as Hedera. Cardano, 43 billion, 4 times as much as Hedera. Hedera has more developers, and it looks like more things going on at the moment, many different projects. Now let's talk about what I think is interesting. If we look at XRP, is a $157 billion market cap. So 2 different things here. We're talking about development in the DeFi space is what DeFi Llama is showing us, just the DeFi type project space. It's also showing us core developers. Hedera's got a lot more. The projects on Hedera are much newer than AVAX and Cardano, so they're getting some movement, and they're getting a lot of movement. And when I looked at ChatGPT and said the top projects, and I already know this because I follow Hedera very closely, it's not just DeFi. They were talking about asset tracking, enterprise workflow automation, carbon offset, you name it, RWA. There's so many projects on Hedera now. It's unbelievable. They have, let's just say, a lot of momentum. Now let's talk about XRP. XRP has been around for 12 years. XRP, I've done many videos on it, going after the market of cross-border payments. They've never said how much they do. How much they do or don't do, we're not sure. It's basically it has an amazing community because people have been accumulating XRP for the longest time because pretty much a large group of people talk about it. I don't know how else to say it other than they believe it's the Holy Grail. And it's gone up quite a bit because new administration, and mainly they believe the SEC was holding it back, only in the US, but the SEC was holding back the court case. Those look like they're coming to an end. Gary Gensler for the SEC has stepped down. So they believe that now it's going to rocket up. It's not, from what I've seen, based on lots of projects and a lot going on, but just that SEC case has ended. Now it can take off. And they have announced some things for 2025, which are brand new in terms of what kind of projects do they have on it. It was mainly just development stuff came up in the top 5, like a wallet, the ability to do a layer 2 smart contracts, a development platform, and some DeFi. So they're sitting at 157 billion market cap, which blows my mind, number 3. And I'll tell you something I was told years ago when we went in to raise some money for a company and we were going to do a presentation. And this is very interesting. We wanted to have a certain valuation. The higher the valuation, the less stock you're going to give up when you raise money. So they said, the individual who, my mentor for years, said, hey, the company is worth the most in 2 situations. Before you do anything or after you've done everything. What did he mean? He meant that people will see the pie in the sky, the unbelievable potential of something before you actually implement it. Once you say, this is what we're going to do, and everyone's like, wow, and they associate this huge value to it, which in my mind is XRP, and then you start executing. And when you start executing, you start getting metrics. Okay, well, how many sales have we done per month? And what's the total amount of the sales? And how long is the sales cycle? Whatever business you're in, there are metrics. Once you get metrics, then you can start valuing the company. But before you do anything, there are no metrics, and everyone just thinks this is going to be the greatest thing since sliced bread. That's just how people think. Or after you've done everything and you accomplished everything you said you were going to do. But in the middle, not so much. So to me, XRP is one of those, oh my gosh, now it's the sky's the limit. Now there's no SEC. No one's holding them down. They're just going to be the greatest thing since sliced bread. Maybe they are, but we shall see. Anyway, they're at $158 billion. Check this out. So we looked at some basic metrics and tried to compare them. But now I want to look at XRP and Hedera. Why? Because XRP has shot up and Hedera, XRP shot up and Hedera shot up. And XRP's at 160 billion and Hedera's only at 10 billion. So let's look at the community. What's going on? The momentum. Put in two search terms. This is Google Trends. It tells you and shows you the search interest on the Google search, which is the predominantly most of the search happens on the Google search engine. Looked at the terms XRP and HBAR. Didn't use the word Hedera. It's got even less. XRP is the blue line. This is the last 30 days. Look at the amount of interest in XRP on Google as opposed to Hedera, which is basically nothing in comparison. And if you look at the State of the Union, all 50 states, 99%, 98%, depending on 99% is XRP, 1% is Hedera. What does that tell you? Well, it sort of makes sense. Money's flowing in where people are talking about it. I also looked at a site called Lunar Crush, and the amount of engagements on XRP was significantly more, just like the searches you see here, than on Hedera. That tells me that there's a lot more momentum. Ripple's been around since 2012, and people were accumulating it in a big way in the last cycle, and there's so much talk and discussion about it. Way more than Hedera. So that tells me a couple good things. We see that Hedera has, in my opinion, a broader breadth of projects building on it. It's got that huge council. It's just starting to get TVL locked because it just launched some of those DeFi projects. The interest is starting to move, but we are just at the basics in terms of search terms and that sort of thing. As more and more people talk about it, which I believe is starting to pick up quite a bit, I believe you're going to see much more capital move in to Hedera. It just makes sense. XRP, at the moment, it seems more hype than anything else. All right, so if XRP is 158 billion and Hedera is 10, and the other two we looked at were 20 on AVAX and 40, so a 2x would be 52 cents. Hedera is currently at 28 cents. I'm sorry, that would be 56 cents. Math is hard. And then that would be to match AVAX, which I think it can. It could match Cardano, which would be a 4.3x. Let's just say a 4x. That's $1.12. And I wouldn't surprise me if it got to 40 billion. That's $1.12. And I think that is easy. For Hedera to go to 100 billion would be 10 times the current price. All right, well, the current price is 28 cents. So that would be $2.80. And we're talking about it getting to 100 billion, which at the moment would put it, even the top six are almost 100 billion. Cardano at 43, so $1.12, no problem, 4x. $2.80, a 10x from here to put it in the 100 billion. Based on all the metrics I've seen, I think it's no problem. It's all going to depend on how things move. What's my point here? My point here is I'm not concerned. You do whatever you want. I'm not concerned with the fast run up. I think it has a long way to go. And I am now convinced that it could easily top $2. Oh, and do take a look at my Twitter, because even though I've had it since 2007, a while ago I wiped everything out, and I just started in the last week or so posting a lot of crypto content, because it takes a while to make a video. You can put things on on Twitter much faster. So it's just at longest. Take a look if you don't mind. Subscribe, Follow if you would. I've got content coming out all the time. Sometimes it's kind of goofy, but it is what it is. Have a great day. Thanks for watching. Hope we could all make generational wealth together with crypto. Have a great day.